Okay, welcome back. This hands-on is about deploying software using Active Directory. So let's just start talking first. Basically, there's two techniques. You could have a push model where the software is just pushed to the machine. They don't have any choice. It makes itself available as an icon in the program start kind of a thing, or during a file association. So let's say, for example, you did not have Microsoft Word installed, but you got a push for Microsoft Word. As soon as you double clicked on a DOCK file, a DOCX file, it would automatically go, oh, you mean you want to install Microsoft Word? Give me a second, let me go do that. And the cool part about this is you don't have to be an administrator to be able to do this install, because this has been approved for you, okay? All right, so whenever they first click on an icon, or a file association, if there is such a thing, well, then it does the install that one time. And if you do this thing, this assigning, the push model, if you assign to a PC, well, then it's really just going to happen once, right? Like for the life of the PC, it's, whoever hits it first is going to install it for everybody, okay? Kind of makes sense? So when it's applied to a PC, because remember how we do group policies, you can apply one of these things to a PC or to a user. If it's applied to a PC, then the icon shows up regardless of who's logged in. If, on the other hand, you assign it to a person, well, then that person, regardless of what PC they're sitting in, will get those icons. Cool. All right. So the other one is the publishing or the pull model. So assigning allows me to assign to a PC or to a user. Publishing is like a pull kind of a scenario, which means the user has to go get it. I mean, there's no indication as anything is there. They just go to, control panel and, the same old programs and features, and there'll be a list there of the program, all the applications that have been approved. You just kind of click on it. And once again, you do not have to be an administrator to be able to do this. Plus, if you do it that way, if the person says, well, I made a mistake, I don't need this anymore, they can uninstall it. Now, in the assign mode, users cannot uninstall it. They don't need it. They do not need administrator rights to install, but they do need administrator rights to uninstall. Kind of a tricky thing. Okay, so of the two techniques, there are three choices. Okay, so assigning to a PC, assigning to a user, and then publishing to a user. The most common technique is assigning, the push model, and mostly it's done by PC, mostly. Okay, so when to use each? This is a good thing to think about. So assigning to a PC would be in large applications, like the Office suite or something, something huge, because typically you want it to happen just once in the life of the machine, right? So essentially, if you do an assign to a PC, the first time it boots up, after it joined the domain, it's going to go, whoa, you need some software. And it's going to do its thing. So assigning to a user, well, this is something that you have a special user. Let's say you're a developer and you have this one particular, developer-oriented calculator that you want to use wherever you go, no matter what you're visiting. You could be visiting your friends over in the accounting department, and if you sit down at their computer, you're going to be offered an opportunity to install this thing. You don't have to. It's just going to be an icon, right? You don't have to click on it, but if you did, it would do the install. Okay. So you kind of start to think about it. This would be for small things, because you wouldn't want to have it so that every PC you go to gets a huge wad of stuff to install every single place you go. That's dumb. And of course, once you've been there once, well, then it's okay, because it's going to go, oh, I need to install. Oh, never mind, you've already got it. So that's kind of how that works. And let me ask you a question. After I leave, I'm visiting somebody in the accounting department, and I'm a developer, and I get this special calculator. When I log off, does the software get uninstalled? No. Now, there is a way you can tell the GPO that when the machine goes out of scope, in other words, I move the machine from one GPO to another, you could, if you wanted it to say, whoa, the scope has changed. I'm no longer in the engineering group. I'm now in the sales group, and it would go, let me hang on a second, let's get rid of this, and then we'll add this. So there is a way you can do that, but not for the user. Okay, makes sense? All right, so we're going to have to do some prep work to our server to be able to do this thing. The first thing we're going to need is we're going to need a network share to be able to put our stuff in. So I'm going to go to my drive D and my shared, and I'm going to create me a brand new folder. Okay, cool. So folder, and I'm just going to call this one software. Okay, cool. Now, in order to have this thing so that the machines could install or users could install, I need some really strange permissions set up on this guy. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to go to security. I'm going to go directly to advanced. It just works better for me. Okay, so I want to basically add a new security principle here, and it's a weird one. Okay, what I want is, if I just type in the word domain, I think it's going to give me the list. I want domain computers. Domain computers. All right, and then I want domain users. So I'm going to do that again. That's a semicolon there. I know you can't see it on my screen. Domain users. So that means I now, okay. I can only, when I'm in this mode, I can only pick one. Sorry. Okay, and so I want this to typical read stuff, no problem. All right, so I'm going to hit an OK. I'm going to go back and do another one. I'm going to get the other guy. So domain users. Okay, and one thinks same old. I need to be able to read lists and all those kind of things. Okay, so what I've done here is I've configured it so that a computer, not a human, but a computer can go to this share and pull this stuff down. Now that's pretty rare that you would use a computer as a security principle. But do you understand why? Because if I'm in here assigning it to a PC, that doesn't even have to be anyone logged on during that period of time. So your PC has to be able to go here and go, oh, let me pull some stuff down. Okay? Okay, this is a bit weird. All right. So I'm going to hit OK. And so now I have set the permissions up correctly. It is a bit odd. And if I ask you a question about this, you'd be able to tell me, right? Because the machine has to authenticate itself sometimes. And then sometimes the user has to authenticate, him or herself, right? Okay, good. All right. Hey, what if I did not want to have people go poking around and seeing this thing? If I was looking at all the available shares, I saw one called software, I'd go, oh, wow, let me go over and see if I can, oh, cool, I'm going to copy that down and take that home. So is there a way you can make it so that ordinary users can't see this thing? Now, they still have to have read permission, but can I hide it? Ooh, there is a way. All right, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to bring up properties, and I'm going to go to sharing, and I'm going to go, advanced sharing is the only place I go to get anything done. I'm going to share this thing, I'm going to call it software. And just as before, I'm going to use the same old thing we did before. Everyone gets everything, okay? That's perfectly okay. So now I have, now I have this thing shared out as software, okay? That's kind of important. If I wanted to hide this thing, instead of just calling it software in the share name, okay, I would call it software, oh well, let me cancel that, with a $sign at the end. Ooh, that'll make it hidden. It'll still work, but it'll make it hidden. Okay, so now I need to copy the install file in here. Now, Microsoft really would prefer this to be an MSI file, Microsoft installer file. You could use an exe, but it doesn't like it. You could, and there's a way you can go in, and there's little tools they give you to you convert one over and whatever. Basically, just use an MSI file. And in fact, if you're talking about corporate software, almost every vendor will have an MSI file. Okay, so I'm going to go to my documents, and in here, and I have a guy. Oh no, I don't. I thought I did. Okay, hang on just a second. Let me snatch it off my Z drive here. Okay, WRPN. So I'm just going to do a copy, and I'm going to go down here to my share that I just created, which is shared software, and I'm going to do paste. Okay, so now I've put an installer file in that folder, the folder that is shared out. Okay, cool. Okay, now we need to go in and pick organizational units and users, right, to be able to link this thing to. So I'm going to use the same one that I did before. So if you had been following along, this has already been done. So I'm going to go here to users and computers, and let's go see what OUs we have. Okay, so I have one called developers. And so the OU is accounts, and then underneath account is developers. And I have Sally Jones as a user, as a developer. So when it comes time for me to apply this group policy object, I'm going to decide to do an assign to a user. Okay, that's probably not the most popular. Most people do assign to a computer, but this is specialized software that only developers need, and I want wherever Sally Jones goes, I want this one thing to follow with her. Okay, and it's small enough for this to be a viable option. Okay, so now we need to create the honest-to-God GPO, right? So we're going to go back here. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to go to our group management. Group policy management. Yay! Okay, so there's several ways you can do this. One is you drill down to the location which you want and do a right click and say create a GPO at this domain. So it'll create the GPO down here, but it'll link it there, okay? Remember, this is the only place that GPOs really exist. These are just linked there. But it sure makes life easy, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go here and create me one new one. What do you want to call this thing? Well, I want to call it something that kind of sort of makes sense to me. How about dev software install? That kind of makes sense to me. It's software specifically for, and by the way, you could get a template and help speed things up. We're not doing that today. Okay, so I have one. I haven't done a darn thing. I mean, I just created this thing, but I haven't told it what it is, right? So I need to go in there and do an edit on this thing. I typically go down here to do edit, okay, just saying. And so this brings this guy up. Now, remember, when you're doing group policy, you have a choice between the machine and the user. Well, I want to use the user one this time, right? Right? Okay. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to the user configuration, policies, software settings, software installation. Woohoo! Okay. And then I want to say a new, it's called a package, okay? Because the reason why it's called a package is, let's say I install version 4, and then I want to come back and update it to version 5. All I have to do is just go in here and create a new package that goes along with that one thing, and it'll automatically update them all. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to do package. And this is, where the heck is this thing? Now, this is tricky, okay? You might think, oh, well, I'll just go down to my D drive and go to shared and go to software, and I'll click that, and I'll be good. No! Other people who are connected to this thing do not have a D drive. So this must be the UNC path to this thing, not the local path that I'm happen to be on at the minute. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. One is to just basically go down here to network. Okay, wait for it to come up. Click on this. Click on software. And that way, it'll build the UNC path for me. Okay, and then, which one do I want? Do I want published or assigned? Ooh, I want assigned, right? I want that push model. I'm assigning it to a user. Okay, so I'm going to say assigned, boink. And then that basically, now I'm going to go in and kind of look at the options that are there because it's kind of useful. So, I'm going to go here and bring up properties. So you just want to see them all. Well, first of all, hang on a second. If I do right click, it says auto install and then the assign and then publish, okay? So these things are kind of grayed out, right? Okay, we're coming up on the 15-minute mark, so just hang in there. We'll finish this off next time.